Good morning, Gallifrey. This is your host, Alice Jane, and this is the first in a series of podcasts exploring Doctor Who. And so for this very first episode, we're going to be doing a review of Series 12, looking back at Chibnall's regime, or reign, if you want to put it that way, in a overall, and also looking forward to the future of the show and discussing the big talking points. So, as I may or may not have mentioned, I can't remember, I'm Alice Jane. I pronouns are she, her. You can find me on Twitter at actuallyalice. And I'm here with my co-host, Dan, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Dan. My pronouns are he, him. You can find me at Leonard Daniels on Twitter. Sorry, at Leonard_Daniels on Twitter, although I'm not really on it at the moment, but I may come back at some point.
Okay, so I'm also here with my very special guest, Serana.
Hi, I'm Serana. My pronouns are she, her, or they, them. On Twitter at Serana1988.
So yes, that's basically it.
Okay.
Yes. Good. So before we proceed, I'd just like to talk a bit about our experience with the show in general. And now this isn't kind of like, oh well, I've been watching it for X number of years, therefore my opinion is more important. It kind of helps to contextualize what we're saying and kind of put things in perspective, I guess. So my very first experience of Doctor Who was a 1996 TV movie, which I was 11 years old at the time. I thought it was okay. I knew about Doctor Who from kind of cultural osmosis before, but I'd never seen it. The special. I didn't really understand the criticisms at the time because it wasn't something that I was a fan of. But I thought it was okay. But I wasn't necessarily disappointed when it didn't get picked up. But then years later, when after Revival started, I saw the episode Blink. And for me, that just dragged me in. I was like, yes, I have to watch this. This is amazing. I love this. And so ever since then, I've kind of been not necessarily hooked because I've not always watched the episodes as they come out. Sometimes I've fallen a bit behind and then I've had to catch up. But it is something which I would always want to catch up, and I would want to make sure that I've seen every episode of the Revival. That is, I've not even started to really dig into the original run yet. But anyway, that's enough about my history with Doctor Who. I think Dan has a bit more history than I do.
Well, yeah, I mean, the history of Doctor Who is basically sort of my history in that I can't remember a time when I wasn't a fan of Doctor Who. So it's actually difficult to say what the first... I don't know roughly when I got into it because I didn't see any of it on original run. So I think I must have been about 5 years old and the series had just finished. And the BBC did a run of repeats. So the first one, I'm pretty sure the first ones I saw were actually William Hartnell ones because they started a run of repeats from the beginning at first. So I have vague memories of what I think is like 5 seconds of one scene from the Time Meddler, and then much stronger memories of a few others, including I think the Time. The Mind Robber was the first one I have very clear memories of. But yeah, so I'm a child of the wilderness years, as they call it, because I didn't have there was no incumbent doctor when I was starting out, so I very much got into bits and pieces from up and down the series, and so I don't have a my doctor, as they say.
So it's interesting that you should mention the repeats because we're about the same age, and I don't remember it ever being on TV. But I mean, it's like I guess we just watched different things because I think at the time I was very much into Red Dwarf. Not really sure if my parents should have let me watch it at that age, but there we go. Yeah,
I was very into Red Dwarf as well. Yes, I think we had. I mean, most of what I watched was stuff on video. Then we got a lot of Red Dwarf, Doctor Who, and Star Trek kind of on VHS tapes.
Perhaps you confused watching on video with the repeats because you're so young.
Say that again, sorry.
Perhaps you've confused watching things on TV with them being watching things on video with them being a repeat.
No, because the ones I had on video I watched over and over again and have very clear memories of.
Yeah.
But I also have bits and pieces of memories of ones that I'd seen earlier than that.
Sure.
So 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 then I just and I sort of drifted away from Doctor Who in my sort of late teens. I think there's a point where you think you're too grown up for Doctor Who, and then a point later on when you realise you're kind of now grown up enough for Doctor Who. So,
yeah, I mean, I think there is a kind of adolescent kind of rejecting all the things from your childhood, saying, "Oh, I'm too grown up for X, Y, and Z," and then later on you come back and you realise, well, actually these are okay. I think there's a Lewis Carroll quote which I can't quite remember.
Right. Yeah.
Which...
that's when I mainly shifted onto Star Trek, but. Then I think at university I kind of came back to Doctor Who and watched. I guess I'm trying to think. I guess that would have been when the new show came back, or just after university. And I think just before the new show came back, I had actually watched a lot of the classic run through. But so I have. I think I love Doctor Who the way most people would love a football team or a child. In that, if they do badly.
Is it your timeless child? See what I did there.
See what you did there. But so I think it's difficult to imagine what the show would have to do to make me stop watching. And I have read some of the novels, and I'm a big fan of Big Finish as well. So there's a lot of
because I think even if I were to stop watching, I would I could potentially gravitate away from the show, but then I could but then come back at a later date.
Yeah.
And kind of rejoin, and I not really have. Not really feel like I've necessarily missed out. But so we've talked a lot so far. Serana, what's your kind of history with Doctor Who?
I remember seeing bits of the old series when I was younger and feeling very scared.
Were you hiding behind the sofa? That was always the old thing that people used to say.
Hiding behind a bedo. And like I remember it being on around my nan's, and it's like, oh, I can't watch this. But then when I got older, when the series revived into 2005 with Chris Eccleston, I did try to watch like the series, but it was I didn't like Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor, and I found still a little bit on the scary side. But then come series 2 with David Tennant, that's when it's opened up, and that's when
I think David Tennant is like a favourite for a lot of people. Yeah.
It was a lot more enjoyable. It's a lot more fun. A lot less serious than Eccleston's short time on it.
Yeah, because his series was very much very much I'm carrying all this trauma from the war kind of thing, and then
because I'm only just reading quite a very brief description of this series on Wikipedia, and I completely forgotten had everything to do with this Time War thing. So I don't even know when that happened in the history of Doctor Who, because I just didn't really watch the old ones.
It's kind of between the old show and the new one.
Oh, so it's between.
Yeah, and so.
So did the old the old series of Doctor Who ended at the beginning of the Time War then?
So the old series ended with the 7th Doctor, and then there was a TV movie. It was like a pilot for an attempted revival with Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor, and that didn't work out. And then, as far as we knew at the time, it went from him to Eccleston, but then it was later revealed in a big shocking retcon twist that there was another Doctor, the War Doctor.
Oh yeah, the
in
War
between,
Doctor.
like a secret Doctor. He was so ashamed of his actions that he kind of buried that personality.
Yeah, I forgot about the War Doctor. That was.
But so the thing is that the reason the War Doctor was created is because Eccleston didn't want to come back for the anniversary special. And so his part in that was a kind of rewritten as this kind of new Doctor, which in hindsight I think actually works better.
Probably did, yeah.
But I mean that's something which I feel we can come back later on to, because I think retconning is going to be a big kind of topic for discussion.
Yeah. It is interesting that you mentioned about how you thought the Time War had been kind of like, had been a previous thing on the show. Because it's like, I think the Time War is definitely supposed to represent the wilderness years, a time when the show, not the same, it kind of got darker and grittier and things changed and the history of the show was messed up. And like timeline splintered, which has very much happened between the different novel ranges and like the audios and the comic books and stuff. So I think it was quite a savvy move to put the Time War in there to represent this time when the show was off air.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, that, yeah.
Not an original thought, yeah.
Okay, so I guess the big talking point of series 12 is the reveal of the timeless child.
Yeah.
And that the Doctor, the Doctor is special.
Well, we already knew that.
The specialist Time Lord that ever did Time Lord, I think El Sandiver put it.
But I think that part of the thing which I kind of liked about the character was that even though they seemed special from kind of like a human perspective, among Time Lords they were just a regular person. And so like one thing that I really don't like about the kind of revival series is kind of this deification of the Doctor that's gone on. So we had a bit of this with Tennant. I mean, was it Voyage of the Damned? It was very, very overt references. It was a bit heavy-handed, and then
I think the thing about Davies and Moffat with their deification bits is there were two reasons why I think that's different to what Chibnall's done here.
Okay.
So for one part, they were all a result of the things the Doctor has done.
Yes.
So like when Davies and Moffat, the Doctor had agency over that. It wasn't some kind of chosen one origin. It was a direct consequence of actions the Doctor has taken. And I think that makes it very different. But also, it was both Davies and Moffat presented it ambiguously on a moral level. Tennant was punished for his hubris. Smith actively rejected the important role that the universe had given to him. And that's whereas that doesn't. Well, it's difficult to say whether that's what's going to happen with that now. But it definitely didn't feel as well. I mean, the first thing, it definitely isn't because of anything the Doctor's done, unless somehow later in time she sends someone back in time to become her or something. But it seems as though this is an origin story now, sort of thing that makes the Doctor special and unique.
Well, I mean, I am kind of hoping that it gets undone, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's I don't like being in that position. I think it makes me feel like the kind of people who say The Last Jedi ruined my childhood or something. Even though this is kind of the opposite of The Last Jedi, which was very much a rejection of chosen one narratives. And now we're back onto chosen one narrative. Yeah, and
because I mean the thing is that all that we know and all the Doctor knows is what the Master has chosen to show them. And as we know, the Master, not really, a reputation for honesty.
Yeah.
So that could have been doctored.
I think it's a way that would feel like a cop-out. But at the same time, at this point, I feel like I'd take the cop-out.
Yeah, I mean, because it's either carry on down this path which is ill-chosen, or say actually most of that episode didn't matter.
I mean, I think the thing is, it's really just pushed things back a bit. Because before, when the Doctor started out, the Doctor was all we knew was not human.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean,
and then we later revealed the origins of the thing, and we got Gallifrey, and we got all of that of Gallifrey, and now Chibnall simply pushed that back, and we know that the Doctor was not Gallifreyan and was from outside of that, and we now don't know anything about where the Doctor originally came from before that, which I just don't think is a fruitful area to explore. I think we tried. I feel like Gallifrey has never really particularly worked in a lot of the stories it's been in.
So
as a concept.
Do you think that's why they wrote out Gallifrey and said it's being destroyed, etc.?
Sorry, say that again, sorry.
Do you think that's why they kind of wrote out Gallifrey? Do you think that they realised actually these storylines with Gallifrey weren't working, so we're going to have the concept of the Time War and him being the only survivor to kind of sidestep that?
I don't think. Do you mean Davies or Chibnall?
Well, either really.
I think Davies wrote it out specifically to make the show's lore smaller and easier to handle for new viewers. And I feel like he'd always intended to bring Gallifrey into it eventually. I mean, he did in dribs and drabs. First mentioning the Doctor's homeworld, and then later giving it a name, and then eventually seeing it but sending it back. Whereas I really don't think Chibnall's thought it through to any kind of degree. I think. Well, I mean, honestly, it's like part of it. It seems that there's a kind of almost perverse desire to undo everything like Moffat did.
Yeah, I mean, I am kind of starting to think that Chibnall isn't that great a writer, but I just want to put a pin in that for a second. Just go back to something you were saying about we always knew the Doctor wasn't human, but in the early seasons, it is implied that the Doctor is human from the future.
Well, not really. In the first episode, they say they're from another time, another world, which is vague, but I think it's.
It's accurate.
It could be a human colony in the future.
Being metaphorical, but if we take that literally, he's not from Earth.
But then,
in the pilot, I think they were explicitly from Earth in the 47th century, which is a much more specific and kind of less interesting description.
So I think, I guess it is kind of vague, and then it wasn't really kind of made definite that the Doctor was a Time Lord until later on. But
no, yes, well, it was just as Davies did it. It was brought in dribs and drabs. It was bits and pieces here and there, mainly because there was no plan, unlike with Davies.
But
I think the thing is, I can't really see. It's difficult to see how this opens up any new storytelling possibilities. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think it kind of feels like change for the sake of change, because the canon has had so many revisions in the past, but it's kind of, I'm not against, the canon being changed, but it has to be a good reason for it, and it has to be meaningful.
I mean, that's the thing, is that ultimately nothing he's done here is actually meaningful. It's all just repurposing and renaming of other things. Like, I don't know how familiar you are with the Cartmel master plan.
Not really familiar.
So that was basically. So Andrew Cartmel was the final script editor of the classic show.
Yeah.
And he had his idea. He wanted to make the Doctor kind of darker and more mysterious. And in the end, all that made it to screen was a couple of cryptic comments from different characters about how he's more than just another Time Lord or something like that. And he never actually got on to doing the thing that his ultimate plan, which emerged in the novels in the end, which essentially said that there was an ancient Gallifreyan figure who lived at the same time as Rassilon and Omega, whose name was lost and was known only as the Other. And that ultimately, basically, through a complex series of stuff that doesn't matter here, that figure was eventually reincarnated as the Doctor. And so because he was, it's about looms, but we don't have to go there. And Susan, his granddaughter, was actually the granddaughter of the Other, who'd fallen through a hole in time or something. I don't know. I've not read the book in question. But so it's like all he's doing is basically that.
Yeah,
it's like that was a bad idea to begin with.
Falling through a hole in time does sound very much like what we got.
Yeah, and then.
The
Doctor didn't fall. The Other didn't fall. The Other cast himself into the looms and was torn apart genetically, and then eventually reconstituted by said looms into the Doctor. But with no memory of that past self or limited memories. But the thing is, it was a bad idea because ultimately it didn't restore mystery to the Doctor. It offered more clarification as to the Doctor's origins. And I think if you want to restore mystery to the Doctor's origins, then just stop talking about them all the time.
Yeah.
Like this, I do not feel like the Doctor is a more mysterious figure now.
No.
I feel like we've been negative, though. I think, shall we talk about something linked to that I think is a more positive thing?
Yeah, sure.
The existence of pre-Hartnell Doctors. Because... I liked the Ruth Doctor. I thought that episode was a roller coaster, and the Ruth Doctor was introduced. And I think that the concept that there were Doctors before Hartnell, that's not in itself a bad idea. There are storytelling possibilities opened up with that, as we saw earlier this season. So I think that's
Yeah, I mean,
if we can divorce that from the timeless child origin, which it kind of is, it's kind of a separate thing. You could have one without the other quite easily.
It's like I did enjoy that episode, the fugitive of the Jadoon, but then I kind of felt like maybe I just enjoyed it because of all the big revelations, and like I think that's kind of Chibnall's writing style, because if you look at the finale, like half the episode was a doctor having her agency removed and just being exposited to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it kind of flicked between that and you know and the companions getting up stuff. But when it wasn't with the doctor, I was like, well, just get back to the doctor. I want to find out what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of that is the how poorly drawn all of the other characters in that episode were. But,
so yeah, it's like I kind of feel that originally I liked the idea of like a companion team, but then I think that it kind of dilutes the focus. Really, none of them really get the screen time or development that they deserve.
Yes, I think nowhere is that more evident, I think, than in Can You Hear Me? We've got these three characters having their three separate experiences with nightmares, and it feels like the episode would have been so much stronger if it was just one. If we just had kind of, Yaz and her backstory as the start of this nightmare-eating creatures story, and had not had the other two, or, even one of the other two. And I think that there's a lot of,
It's like, I didn't really like her kind of flashback stuff, because it reminded me that she's a cop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something, again, that they haven't done anything with, and it feels like, I don't like that she's a cop, but there's a way to turn that into a good story, because I think something in Yaz's personality that links with that, which I'm not sure if they've actually consciously linked in the writing process, is how much she trusts the authority of the Doctor. And she has this kind of naivety about authority. She does what the Doctor says. She turns to the Doctor for everything, And you could link that with her being a cop and have a really interesting thing of her learning that, authority is not always a good thing.
Yeah.
And I do not think for a second that is what they're planning to do with the character, but it's one of so many things in these last couple of series that I thought, this is salvageable, but I know they've no intention of salvaging it. Like with the Doctor and her whole, and like naive pacifism of it, and with her objections to guns and her not overthrowing Kablam and such. Like I was saying to someone about how you can see how that could be an interesting outgrowth of the 12th Doctor's final moments when he's saying, just be kind. And like, if that was kind of inculcated into the new Doctor to the extent that it became almost pathological.
Yeah.
And then this arc could be about her reconciling, like, being kind with also fighting evil. Like, I mean, her attitude in, like, the kind of the system's not the problem attitude of Kablam and the way she acts in that. So it's not a million miles away from Capaldi's speech in the Zygon two-parter, where he's basically telling the rebels, if you fight your oppressors, you're as bad as them. And it's like, he doesn't go that far, and I think that's still a good speech, and it doesn't break the character for me. But you can see how there's an arc from that to where the Doctor is now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that generally, the show is written by liberals. It's very much the system isn't the problem, and it's like in Orphan 55, when she's talking about saving the planet or whatever, she's like, it doesn't kind of identify the issue. It just I can't remember what she says, because it was so meaningless a message.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, it just says, we've got to stop it before it's too late. And it's like, oh, well, that's told all the people who are saying actually making our planet uninhabitable is a good thing. But who are those people? Those aren't the people that we have to fight here. And there is a narrative with the environment at the moment that because everyone, it's difficult now to claim that climate change isn't happening, or that pollution is not about a problem. So now that the people who are actually responsible for it try to make it so that we're all responsible. When actually our plastic straws are drop in the ocean compared to
I see what you did there.
Yes. And, there's ultimately, like, us recycling more or not using plastic straws isn't going to do shit,
Exactly.
And I think that, and even then, you could have had a good bit in the Orphan 55 if like Yaz or Graham had said, I do my bit, I recycle, and the Doctor went on, yeah, everyone does, and it was pissing in the wind because they still kept voting for fucking Tories.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing which really got to me was like, I saw the reaction on Twitter before I saw the episode, and like all these kind of reactionaries were like, oh, this is left wing propaganda, and then I watch it,
dumb.
and it's like it's not. It doesn't identify any core issues. It doesn't. So you've got the people who are saying that Doctor Who goes too far, and then you got people like me and you who are saying Doctor Who doesn't go far enough.
Yeah.
And then there's like a reaction on the part of people who had liked the episode, but they're purely reacting to the reactionaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's this massive narrative among people who like the Chibnall era that people who don't like it because it's so progressive and they just don't want women and brown people in it. And it's like that just really obscures the valid leftist critique of this series. I mean, it's like it was only Kablam came in the following in the series after Oxygen, where we had Capaldi saying the enemy is capitalism.
Yeah, I know. Oxygen was fantastic.
Yeah,
I've
and
not seen any of his.
And it's a shame that Doctor Who has not, on the whole, tended to be as leftist as that. It is generally more of a white liberal ethos. But it seemed like with Capaldi's, over Capaldi's run, we were almost heading in that direction. But now we've just slammed on the brakes and just reversed a bit. And it's frustrating. And it's frustrating not enjoying the Chibnall era in a time when everyone who does enjoy it thinks that not enjoying it is a sign that you're like a reactionary middle-aged white dude, which I'm a middle-aged white dude, but not,
I know, I wouldn't say you're middle-aged just yet, but yeah.
I would. I was going to say at one point, so you're saying that Doctor Who at the moment is more of a centrist programme, that lefty or righty.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's very much like the same. It's very much like J.K. Rowling's Doctor Who in that it's very surface level leftism. It's David Cameron's Doctor Who basically. It's like,
well, that is a bit harsh maybe, but
it's a sheen of leftism over this very reactionary core. I mean, don't forget, David Cameron, brought in gay marriage.
Well, I mean, the Lib Dems kind of really push for that, but that's neither here nor there, really.
Yeah, but it's like it's a fig leaf over. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, it's like I'm just starting to think that the Chibnall isn't that great a writer, because I mean, I did enjoy Series 11 myself. I think the main thing I really enjoyed about it was that they didn't bring back any old villains.
Yeah, that was a good thing about Series 11, but also, like, I remember some episodes, but I don't remember all of them, and it's even more of the case of Series 12. I don't remember the episodes themselves, but I remember the threads more. I remember that the Masters reappeared. I remember that Solomon's appeared.
You're thinking of a different series. It's like Series 11. There was
no. I'm talking about Series 12.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Go on.
I'm saying Series 12 has more threads in it, but the stories are less memorable.
Yeah.
Overall, it's just the threads. Masters bag, the Solomon's bag, or at least there's a Solomon who looks like he's still mostly human. There's of course. This whole thing about Thomas Child kind of thrown in, which at first was a bit random, I think, to me. It was like, Thomas Child? What? That's not Doctor, isn't it? like Palmer 4's Doctor B4 is revealed to be the Doctor.
You're way ahead of everyone else then.
Yeah, because I don't know, I thought Thomas Child was always Doctor. I thought this was referenced in previous series with I don't know, with either David Tennant or Matt Smith or something. I thought this was already known.
I think it was referred to in Series 11. like once.
Yeah. I did
Are you
see
talking
on.
about the Timeless Child?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was mentioned in the Ghost Monument by some flying tea towels.
Wow. Okay. I do not remember the flying tea
I
towels.
did read on Wikipedia that was actually briefly mentioned in series 11 by some monster like teasing the Doctor about the Timeless Child or something like that. That's
Yeah,
probably.
it was the flying tea towels in the Ghost Monument.
I need to see this again because I just completely forgot about the flying tea
Yeah,
towels.
this is probably
They were officially
where.
referred to by the show as the Remnant,
Wow.
Yeah.
which I don't think was used. But yeah, they were kind of flying around and they were whispering into people's minds and saying things to scare them or whatever. And one of those was talking to the Doctor. I think it was, I'm trying to remember the exact line, it was something like the abandoned, yeah, just said something about how that they can see it in her mind and they can see that she doesn't remember it consciously. It was they said something like the child abandoned, lost and alone, the timeless child or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And then they moved on.
So
I immediately thought, they're talking about the Doctor here. Like I do remember exactly what he just said. That's what these voices said in someone's head, and I vaguely remember thinking, oh no, they're talking about the Doctor. And so the ending of series 12, revelation that she's someone's child. I'm like, okay. Great, oh my god! First I was like, oh my god, and then later I'm like, hang on, what?
Yeah. 'Cause, I mean, I think for me the reason that Series 11 was really strong was, apart from that, they didn't really have the ongoing threads from the show, and they didn't have the recurring villains, so they didn't have this kind of crutch to lean upon. So each episode had to stand in its own right. And I just kind of feel that a lot of writers right, here's the Daleks, here's the Cybermen, and it's getting a bit old. I think 4 of the last 5 finales or something have had the Cybermen.
Yeah, it's diluting. Basically, it's diluting how scary the Cybermen and Daleks are by having them included a bit too much.
Yeah.
And the next special is coming up. Involves with Daleks.
Oh yeah, I can't remember the title, but it's something of the Daleks.
Revolution of the Daleks, I think.
What's that? Sorry.
Revolution
That's
of the Daleks.
Revolution of the Daleks.
Yeah, Revolution of the Daleks.
So I bet that's going to be, pretty revolutionary, right?
I mean, because the last special also had the Daleks as well.
Yeah.
What Resolution?
And the thing is, it's like, have you noticed how series 8, 10, and 12 all ended with a finale involving both the Master and the Cyberman?
Yes, I said 4 out of 5, so I was close.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that bit, but yeah. And it's like, and the thing about the, okay, should we talk about the Master a bit?
Yes, because I love the new Master. I think he's
Master's
fantastic.
pretty good, yeah.
And people are debating, oh well, where's this one coming in the timeline? And I don't really care. Because people are saying, oh, well...
The performance is great.
Yeah, people are saying, oh, it undoes all the character development from Missy. But then when a timeline regenerates, they don't necessarily have the same personality anyway. So I don't really see how that's an argument.
It's a big shift, though. And also, I think more than... I mean, what you're giving there is kind of an in-universe explanation. But what I'm more concerned with is that I think that Missy was a more interesting character than the Master, either before or after, and that there was much more scope to do something with that character. Like in most incarnations, and I do include the Sacha Dhawan one, the Master is not a very interesting character. He's just a kind of fairly generic villain. And I thought that the positioning of Missy as like this agent of chaos that is not actually evil and quite likes the Doctor. And,
Chaotic neutral, would you say?
Sorry?
Chaotic neutral, would you say, or chaotic good?
I would say chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. And I just think that was a much more interesting thing, and I think it positioned Missy in a way that she could have been an ongoing, feature of the Doctor universe in a way that could never really be before. It's like there's a reason that the Master has been killed off so many times at the end of his stories, and that's because you can't really leave a character like that around. Whereas Missy could have been left around and could have been was a recurring character in series 8 and 10, and that worked in a way that I don't think you could with this new Master.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's been a lot of love for the new Master. I think it's mainly the performance, because it is a fantastic performance. He has really great chemistry with Jodie Whittaker. So one thing actually you learned recently, which is interesting, he was in an Adventure in Space and Time. He played
Waris Hussein.
Yes, he played one of the directors from the original show.
Yeah, the first director of the show.
But anyway, that's that's just a little trivia fact. But
Yeah, I kind of felt that it's just a step backwards into something that isn't that interesting. And yeah, the performance is excellent. I mean, it's kind of telling that he's at his best when he was in disguise as that was a great performance.
And the reveal was great. I love that. It's fantastic.
I mean, my headcanon there is that, because the thing is, it was such a thing of when the doctor said, when he said, I hate sprinting, the doctor said, but you were a championship sprinter. And he could have just gone, didn't say I liked it though,
Yeah.
But I think my headcanon is that the Master had been waiting for so long for the doctor to catch on so that he could do his big reveal. And it was like, that was just such a small thing. And he was like, right, I'm taking that. That's the thing. She's caught me,
But yeah, I think he did kind of save the episode, because overall I don't think Spyfall as a two-parter was that great.
Well, I don't know. I thought Spyfall Part 1 was good, and that's the episode that the reveal was in. So, but I think even before then, there was a lot of good stuff. The Kisavin were quite a creepy presence, quite well executed in that episode. Lenny Henry's Daniel Barton was brilliant. I've never been a fan of Lenny Henry, and I would not have thought he had this in him, but he was really good in that role. I would not have thought, that was Lenny Henry if I hadn't known that was Lenny Henry, to be honest.
I actually forgot that Lenny Henry and, what's his name? I can't remember.
Stephen Fry?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. I totally forgot they were both in it. I kind of forgotten entirely about Spyfall. Until I looked on Wikipedia.
Okay. Well, here's a question. How would you have felt if it had been the Master that was a timeless child?
I think that would have been much better, to be honest.
Because when he was like, oh, you know who it is, and then I was like, it's gonna be one of those two, and then they're like, it's you, and I'm like, why? Why?
Yeah. And yeah, that would have been a lot better, and would have kind of been a better reason. Well, actually, I will say this about that reveal. The one thing I did like about it is that I did like that was the thing that tipped the Master over the edge, because I was thinking, how is this going to? There's no way they could write something that the Time Lords had done that was so evil that even the Master, was disturbed by it.
Yeah.
That'd be something. It'd be impossible to write that. So to make it something that's actually not really something evil, it's just the fact that he is not as important as the Doctor. I kind of like that as a character thing for him.
Yeah.
That's how set that up the way that they did. That is possibly the best way they could have done it for his character, sort of thing.
So he kind of discovers this and then destroys Gallifrey somehow. It's not really revealed how he did this, and you think, he's a bit of a wrong 'un. But does he have the capacity, like the kind of physical capacity, to actually carry this out?
Yeah, it's.
And then I did kind of like the way that I thought the episode was heading, because they have this kind of.
So we're talking about Spyfall here.
No, so going back to the finale.
Yeah.
So they kind of have this kind of standoff between him and the Doctor, where she's got the button and she's going to press it, and then I thought that she was realizing that if she presses it, then he's won. This is exactly what he wanted, and that's why she didn't press it. But then Sir Barristan Selmy shows up at the end, and it's like, right, well, I'll press it instead, and the Doctor just buggers off.
Yeah, and they even gave the Master a line, which I almost didn't hear, but it was, I think, when the Doctor was holding the button and the Master was saying, "Do it, become me." And it's like, are you really not becoming him just because someone else pressed the button?
Yeah. And it's like, what was even with that dude? I mean, it's like he sent the Siberian back in time.
Yes, they put that line in, and it's like, what? Why? How would that have helped?
And
They've mentioned it before with Captain Jack said something about they sent something back in time to fight the Cybermen or something, but the lone Cyberman was after it. But it just didn't make any sense why they would. I mean, nothing about the Siberian makes any sense, to be fair.
And like, what the hell was going on with Brendan? Like, what was all that about? I literally don't understand.
Well, what they said in the episode was that was the Doctor's memories in the Matrix, but they put a sort of sheen over them to make them look like something else, so that.
Wait, so they spent like half an episode like building up that just to reveal that it wasn't actually real.
No, yes. Well, because they were in the finale when they were showing the things the Doctor was now remembering from the past life or was being shown, and they intercut it with Brendan's story. But it doesn't even follow the same route, because Brendan falls off the cliff and comes back to life after joining the Garda. But the Doctor, in The Timeless Child, that happened as a child, and then it was later that they joined the division. So that even within that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because it's like when a Timeless Child fell off the cliff, I thought, oh, they're just going to survive, and they're going to be linked to Brendan somehow, through being invincible or whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, they did, but not in a way that made as much sense as we were thinking it would.
Yeah.
But I think just to go back briefly to what you were saying about how Chris Chibnall, you don't think he's a good writer. As I was realising yesterday that this is the way, like, this is terrible and exactly the way it would be terrible if I wrote the show. I think, because, I thought of, I've got like 3 seasons in my head, and I'm sure it would all be terrible in exactly this way, because it's basically just a series of things of, oh, that's a cool idea. I'll think about how that ends sometime, but that's a cool idea. It hasn't been done. We'll do that. And I think he doesn't know how to finish things, and he doesn't know why he's doing any of these things, apart from, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen Broadchurch, but from what I've heard, he didn't know who the killer was going to be until it was revealed. Like, that's just not how you write, like, especially like a mystery show. That's not how you write it at all. That's not good writing.
I mean, you might well take that with a grain of salt, because I told you it, so it might not be true. I had heard that somewhere.
I think I have heard that from other sources as well.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've not seen Broadchurch, so.
I mean, Agatha Christie did sort of do that, apparently. Agatha Christie used to write the novel, and then when they get to the reveal, she'd think, right, who is the least likely person for it to be? And then she'd make them the killer.
Yeah.
And then she'd go back and insert clues earlier to make it make sense.
Yeah,
which Chibnall doesn't bother to do, I don't think.
Because that's the thing, when you're writing a book, you can do that, but when you're writing a TV show, like, it's already been broadcast, you can't go back and put the clues in.
Yeah.
Unless he time travels.
Yeah, I mean, I'm presuming, it was a separate mystery each series, so I'm presuming it was all written before any of it was broadcast, but...
But yeah,
so
just like one aspect of the Timeless Child which I've seen people bring up is does the Doctor have infinite regenerations? Does that mean that Matt Smith getting the extra regenerations was pointless? But the way that I kind of read it is that the Doctor had this limit imposed on them.
Yeah, like maybe when they wiped the Brendan Doctor's memories and turned them into Hartnell, then I guess that they could easily have imposed the limit then. That would make sense. Or they could just as easily say that, they didn't. And I mean, the thing is, this is a secret within Time Lord Society. It's entirely possible that whoever was in charge of Gallifrey at that point didn't know, and Matt Smith didn't know, and everyone present thought the Doctor was about to die, and so they gave him this extra energy unnecessarily because they didn't know.
But I don't know. To me, that kind of diminishes it. Like he could have just done nothing and he'd have been fine.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, I mean, the thing is, you could say. I mean, I think you can make the argument that it doesn't diminish it in the same way that I would make the argument that Day of the Doctor doesn't diminish Christopher Eccleston's angst and David Tennant's angst, because whatever actually happened, this is what they believed at the time.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense at the time. And so I think I can make it's the least of the Timeless Child's problems, let's put it that way.
So yeah, I mean, I think we've perhaps covered everything on series 12 that needs covering. I think maybe we should start.
I've got a few more things I would like to say.
Go ahead. Yep.
So,
I had something I've been meaning to say.
Well, yeah. Well, let Dan go first, and then you can have your say.
Well, I mean, I feel like we've been very negative, and I want to say a few things that I liked.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I mean, the only episode we actually looked at in detail was Spyfall, and I think, but it's like there's really there was one scene in the finale that I really liked, and I wish we'd had more of that, and that was the Master and Ashad interacting. I thought that was fantastic, and just at the point where Ashad was revealing his plans, and I was thinking in my head, what? Just robots?
Yeah.
And then the Master said the line, what? Just robots? And I love the line, like, come on, let's workshop this. I have notes.
So it is kind of weird, like kind of Master being like the kind of audience inserts.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. It's like if anyone knows evil schemes, he knows his evil schemes.
That is true.
Like, this is not a good one. He recognises that. And I think I would have loved Ashad. I would have loved Ashad to continue a bit through the episode because him and the Master made a good double act, and I think they would have. I think they would have held the episode together a bit more. But yeah, so that was what I really liked in that episode. And I suppose like I haven't talked about like sort of the other episode I really liked was I really liked Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. I think that is just an episode of the kind of baseline competence that we at the Chibnall era should be operating on more.
I mean, anything that badmouths what's his face, Edison is good in my books.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought it was quite savvy to parallel him with the aliens in that story, the Skithra, and with him and Tesla as a microcosm of the Skithra and Earth. That's a level of thematic unity that we should be seeing more of in all the episodes. But we don't get that in any of the others, I think, or many really. Anyway.
But yes, Serana, you had some thoughts?
Yeah, I had some thoughts. Watching the series, while I was in progress, that it was like resembling the possibility that maybe the whole series is actually going down a multiverse route. Like she's accidentally going into different timelines, like not realising it. That's why she can't remember that Ruth Doctor.
I mean, the Chibnall has officially denied that, but then I think there is a history of writers officially denying things, and then it turns out that they're true.
I mean, like it would be interesting if like they somehow did like give into the possibility that the Doctor may have created like alternative timelines and not realising it, and that would be a bigger story that would go on for multiple series instead of just one series long.
But that's an interesting theory, like since the finale, I think, but of what but I heard it since then of what Ruth might have been, and what someone had suggested was that she was like basically in Twice Upon a Time when Capaldi and not Hartnell were interacting, and they sort of convinced each other to go on living, but that Capaldi in some way psychically rubbed off on the first Doctor and changed what his regeneration was going to be. And so Joe Martin was actually a kind of a branch off of an alternative second Doctor from that. And I think if we were going down the parallel universe route, that would be the least cop-out version of it.
Yeah.
But,
because
I didn't think the parallel universe would be a cop-out, but I think having seen what we did get, I think I would have preferred a cop-out.
So I think they're more likely to kind of build off things that have been in the revival than I think that's more likely than the kind of Series 6B.
But that's the thing, it built off like the last, Capaldi story.
Yeah.
Which is, it's something that's just been brought back into public consciousness, the first Doctor's regeneration. So I think that would have been fair. That would have fair game. But yeah, I think I did want to say a bit more about Chibnall's like. Sorry, actually, Serana, you were talking about parallel universes. I wasn't sure whether you finished there or not.
Are you done?
What? Oh, yeah, no. Another, thought that maybe the Doctor not remembering certain things from the past might be due to the fact that, because you've told me this before, haven't you, Alice, that the BBC, when they originally recorded Doctor Who, actually recorded over the old tapes of Doctor Who, and thus the Doctor forgets certain things that happened in her past. I thought that's what was going on.
So it's a nice kind of reference to that, but it's not an explanation, is it? It's like...
No, but I just thought, this is the reason why Doctor don't remember these certain things happening in like further back in her past. is simply because BBC overwrote the tapes, and so nobody can see those episodes anymore.
And that would be very meta.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wanted to say something, Dan?
Yeah, well, a bit again about Chibnall and how I think that he does a lot of things but doesn't really know why he's doing them. Like, he does things that... I think he's someone who knows what a TV series should look like, but doesn't know why any of the bits are what they are. Like, I mean, I think, the example... probably before the finale, the most infuriating episode was probably Spyfall Part 2, right? Because there were two horrible bits in that. So one was, at the end, the mind-wiping of Ada Lovelace and... what was her name?
So it's Ada Lovelace and Charles Babbage.
No, Ada Lovelace and there was the woman from the Second World War.
Yeah, the radio woman.
Was it Noor Khan or something like that?
I can't remember, but we know the one you mean.
Yeah, and like there's just no reason for that, no justification for that in story. I think it's just that he thought, what happens in these situations? Oh, the Doctor wipes people's memories. That happens. I'm not he clearly forgot about the two occasions in the Moffat era which made pretty definitively clear that's not cool. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But the thing about even leaving aside like the consent issues of that, even by the Doctor's own reasoning, and well, okay, let's talk about the other awful thing for that episode briefly. The Doctor handing like a South Asian man over to the Nazis. Like, that is a terrible look for the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. I cannot believe that made it through the edit. I mean, Sacha Dhawan at the very least saw that script and let that, and all the actors. How did that get through?
So I guess the justification is that he's a master, he's awful, therefore. And I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying that's. I imagine that's what their thought process was.
I just found what Sorry, I was just saying. I just found what the other person's name from World War II. It's Noor Inayat Khan, and that's from the second part of Spyfall.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, so I think even leaving aside the kind of social justice warrior optics of that master thing, like, it just completely makes pointless the whole Ada Lovelace thing. Because, like, okay, Ada Lovelace, the woman who invented the computer, well, we better erase her mind in case she invents the computer a bit too much.
Well, I mean, she invented the concept of programming. That's
not the computer, not strictly,
She's perfectly happy to hand over someone with knowledge of future technology from another world to one of the worst regimes in history who have a history of interrogation and torture. Like, first of all, how did that not result in the Nazis taking over the world with, like, the Master would absolutely sell all of his secrets to the Nazis in a heartbeat to save his skin. That's, even leaving aside why didn't that happen, why would the Doctor have taken that risk? That is an incredibly stupid thing to do. And compare that to her wiping those women's minds, including one who only had a year left to live before she died in the concentration camps. It's not as though she could have done much to affect history. But then sending the Master Battles, like, Chibnall, he wrote both of those things, but just there was no connection, I don't understand. There's no justification for the mind wipe if you're also going to do this other thing that majorly affects history. That's just infuriating.
But yeah, it's like I sound like a broken record, but I just don't think Chibnall's a good writer. He does things for the sake of it.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants to be the one to shake things up.
I thought we had enough of negative things about this series.
Just one more thing that I didn't like about the finale. There's when the Doctor is trapped in the Matrix and she's trying to break out, and it looks cool. It's like a whole big fan servicey moment.
The moments of all the previous Doctors just flow out just to break free.
It just doesn't really make that much sense.
Not really, no.
It doesn't make any more or less sense than the rest of the episode.
Well, no. It's a very low bar there, to be fair.
Do you know about the Morbius Doctors?
Yes.
At all? Did you know they were all in that montage?
Yes, I've seen a lot of people commenting on it, and like some people are saying that this is Chibnall, just retroactively, just trying to make the Morbius Doctors canon.
Don't know why that is, but okay. What did you think to the division
I mean, it's like
That's something that I think is going to inform some story choices
it has
going
potential
forward.
going forward. I mean, some people have said that why not just use the CIA? I mean, and for context, this is the Celestial Intervention Agency.
Indeed.
This is a real thing in Doctor Who canon.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think Chibnall. I think the reason the division exists is because Chibnall kept trying to write CIA in a script and just cringed too much. And it was like, I can't put CIA in one of my serious dramatist scripts. But that's why the CIA. That's the thing. It's just this long history of Chibnall reinventing things and making them worse. Because the CIA existed as a satire of exactly the sort of thing that the division now seems to be played straight. Like the whole point of the CIA is that it was silly. It was like, it was the Kennedy assassination, but organised by stuffy old men in big robes who did nothing but, have lunches. Or it was just this. It was taking the piss, and the division, on the other hand, seems very serious, and it's like. What you're doing something they were taking the piss out of in the 70s.
So I think going forwards with the show, Chibnall. I had heard rumours that both Chibnall and Whittaker were going to stop after this series. I can't see that happening now.
No. I mean, they're filming in the autumn, apparently, for the next series, which means that we'd be watching the finale knowing. There's no way we could reach the finale without knowing this,
Because, I mean, barring Eccleston, each Doctor has had a 3-series run, and I think that's about right, really. Because if you look at the ratings, you see that there's a new Doctor bounce. Lots of people watch it, and then as it progresses, it gets lower and lower. And so the BBC just want to refresh things every 3 or 4 years or so. Just to keep it relevant, keep people watching.
Well, it's interesting that in the real world, like, Whittaker's going to have had a longer reign than anyone else because there've been so many hiatuses within her tenure. Like even that 3 series, I think it's going to be more like 5 or 6 years by the time we get to the end of it.
So do you think maybe she'll last until the anniversary special?
The anniversary special?
Yeah, the 60th anniversary.
Oh, the 60th. Oh, right. I had not thought that far ahead.
Because it's 3 years away now, so we're getting to the point where they're going to be starting to put in, story threads that are going to lead to that.
Well, hopefully, the 50th anniversary did give Stephen Moffat's writing a real shot in the arm. So hopefully, if he does stay as far as the 60th, Chibnall will get a second wind and suddenly realise, oh wait, no. Yeah, I can do this.
So you're saying I would really love like a 6 Doctors story, or is it 6 Doctors or 5 Doctors? It would be if we had
how many do you want?
If we had all the modern Doctors.
So that's Eccleston, Tennant, Smith, Capaldi, and Whittaker.
Okay, yes, and then potentially a 14th Doctor.
7 if you include John Hurt. Oh no, not John Hurt, obviously.
Yeah, no.
Joe Martin could be in it.
I don't think she would want to be in any series specials or anything.
Who's that? Sorry,
Eccleston.
Oh well, I mean, apparently
he's not that keen, is he?
It's like apparently he has cooled on the idea recently, or warmed to the idea rather.
Yeah, warm.
Well, he's done a convention now. I think maybe in a couple of conventions.
It did kind of annoy me a bit that he kind of took this role and just wanted to do it for one season when he should have known that there's been a history of a multiple Doctor special. This is a big commitment. But
he didn't know. I mean, no one knew back then that this was actually going to take off. As far as anyone knew, it wasn't going to get a second series.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, it had been 15 years. I think you can be forgiven for not realising how big it was going to be.
And I guess he's had things going on in his personal life, so I can't really judge him too harshly.
Yeah, and also he wasn't planning to just stay for one series. He left after some kind of fallings out with the production team. Apparently, I'm not going to say any details because it's all speculation. But I think we know that there was. Well, anyway, I'm not going to further into that. But so it wasn't his plan to do just one series from the start.
So I think that a 5 or 6 Doctor special could be really good. I mean, I think that they should have a core team of maybe 2 or 3 who they have for most of the episode, and then bring in all the Doctors towards the end. Sorry.
Like in Day of the Doctor.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing I can see... you haven't seen the 5 Doctors, have you?
Not yet, no.
No. Yeah. I mean, do you know much about it?
No, but go on, make your point, whatever it is.
Well, I was just going to say, because The Five Doctors is basically just a glorious parade of fan service, bringing in as many things as possible from the series before, with no real regard to fitting them together into a coherent story. And it's like, that was, in the run to the 50th, I was thinking that was like the best we were going to get with the anniversary. So when it came out, and it was actually a story that made sense and wove the characters together, I thought, wow, we got so much. But I feel like if Chibnall was doing an anniversary special, it would be more along the lines of The Five Doctors.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe I should be careful what I wish for, really.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But although wishing for it is, you're going to get it either way. So, so what do you think? Do you think the? Okay, do you think it? I'm trying to think which of these two questions to ask first. Do you think the companions are going to leave in the next special, or are they going to stay on for a third series?
I think it could go either way, really. I mean, I think that if they were to make a break, then I don't think anyone would be too upset.
Do you think? I was going to speak vaguely about this, but I suppose I might as well be specific. Do you think Yaz should stay on alone after Ryan and Graham leave?
No. I think that either they all stay on, or we get a new companion. I mean, personally, I would like a refresher, like a new companion to come in, someone who's maybe not human or not from modern day Earth. We want to mix things up a bit, I think.
Yeah, I'm actually sorry. I'm of the opinion that I think the Yasmin characters should stay. The other two should leave, and maybe I'm not sure if they should stick another companion or if it should just be Yasmin and the Doctor. Because I think Yasmin and the Doctor are pretty okay with each other. But I just don't see the point having the Ryan and Graham characters there anymore. I think they should go.
I like how you can have kind of like a main companion and then kind of like sub companions or like side companions to kind of come in and go like
Nardole and
or to a lesser extent Rory, like you had Amy as a main companion, and then you had some adventures with just her and the Doctor, and then Roy would come along for a bit, and then I think he would leave and then come back.
So I think he came, yes, he did, because of course he died
like a million times.
Yeah, I think so. I think I would love it if one of them stayed on, actually, and I don't really mind which one at this point.
I mean, if I had to pick one, I'd say Graham. I like Graham. Like when he was announced, I was like, "What, Bradley Walsh, really?"
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise to me as well. I'm like, "Wait, Bradley Walsh, really?"
So,
but then after a while, I just kind of like, I don't really want Bradley Walsh on anymore.
I do kind of like the way that he looks up to the Doctor, like, "Oh, go on then, Doc, tell us."
Yeah, but
I like the thing is that it's like we'd already had the same reaction to like Billy Piper and then Catherine Tate and then Matt Lucas, and all of them were great. So at this point I was like, okay, I'll trust you. Andy Pryor has done well so far. I think Andy Pryor is like the unsung hero of Modern Who.
So who's Andy Pryor?
He's the casting director. He was like one of two crew members who stayed on for the Chibnall era, I think.
It's like one thing.
There was him and the dude who does the explosions.
One thing I actually forgot to mention, Captain Jack.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, John Barrowman paired in Fugitive of Judoon this time. And then he just kind of like disappeared. I'm thinking like we're probably going to see him again in a future series. He's probably going to make a reappearance again for like one or two episodes.
If I have one criticism of the character is I think he kind of exemplifies the kind of greedy bisexual stereotype.
I actually liked him
like that at first.
in his like brief appearance in this series because he definitely came across a bit more open. Actually, he was always a bit more open, but I think previously was he like more like gay male type thing, stereotype. He did seem a bit more bisexual this time.
I think he's always been kind of like openly bisexual.
Right.
I think perhaps more in Torchwood, which I've not seen myself, but
in Torchwood he's much more gay, actually.
Yeah. He definitely was in Torchwood.
They kind of make him more just homosexual mostly, with a couple of references. But I think the American audience wouldn't have taken to. I think I've heard it reasoned that basically the kind of pansexuality was a bit of a hard sell for a new series. I think, especially when they were hoping to get it sold in America, and so they sort of toned it down. Especially in the American co-produced Miracle Day series, he was basically just a gay man, you know. But yeah, is there a stereotype? Is there a cliche of queer characters dying and then coming back immortal? Because it's happened like 3 times in Doctor Who, like with Jack and Clara and Bill. Like,
wait,
all 3 of them.
Clara?
Clara was queer. I'd completely
queer?
forgotten about that.
I didn't even know.
Well,
I thought she was
it
straight.
wasn't explicit, but she did say that Jane Austen was a good kisser. I
Huh.
don't know. That's it. I mean, I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
And if you were in any doubt, she died and came back immortal, which seems to be what happens to queer characters on Doctor Who.
We're hard to kill, queer people.
But yeah, no, I think going back to companions, I think any of one of them would make a good pairing, just one-on-one with the Doctor. I can see how they've all got different dynamics. Like, I've already spoken about how I thought, Yaz and the Doctor have that thing that could go in a bit of a dark direction if, like, the Doctor ultimately fails Yaz and Yaz has to learn that the authority is bad.
I mean,
but there's a clear arc I can see there, or there's I can see with Ryan. I can't quite see so much because Ryan is less of a character than the other 2, I think. But I can definitely see if he's getting a bit more front and centre with the Doctor. I can see that working, and I can see her and Bradley kind of going on essentially like a package tour of the universe that just keeps getting invaded by aliens.
Yeah,
that'd be really good as well.
I mean, I think just going back to a point I made earlier, kind of with the companion team. The individual companions don't really have space to breathe. We don't really get these like individual relationships explored as much, or they don't really get their own arcs. And I think that a lot of the time that they are just reacting to what's going on around them.
Yes, exactly. They don't get to make decisions. And it's like, that's what's the interesting thing, is when someone's faced with a decision to make, but they're just reacting.
Yeah, and that was a problem I had with the finale, because for a lot of it, the Doctor is just reacting.
Yeah. And the thing is, and one thing I miss from Russell T Davies' era is, like, there was a real caring about the secondary characters and giving them, like, inner lives, even if just for a second, just enough to make them a person. And that's something that Moffat didn't really care so much about, but he made up for it by having a lot of focus on the lives of the TARDIS crew and making them interesting people, and to make up for that. Whereas Chibnall doesn't really seem to care about either set of characters that much. Like the regulars or the one-offs. Sorry, just going to cough a second.
Oh, how dare you! You've ruined the whole thing. Now I have to start all over again.
No,
Good morning, Gallifrey.
But yes, I mean, I do feel like we're kind of coming to like a wrapping up point now.
Okay, there's one more question mark for me, because I was thinking about this today. Do you think it would have been better to have these 3 companions just each do one series with the Doctor just separately? Because I think that could have worked well.
Yeah, that would have been really good, I think.
I mean, Yaz isn't connected to Ryan and Graham anyway. And to be honest, Ryan and Graham's connection doesn't really seem like there's like about 2 or 3 scenes of it in Series 11 mentioning that they're related.
Yeah,
and I think maybe like one reference in like Orphan 55 to Graham.
Yeah, like there was the whole thing about
each arrived separately.
Like there was the whole thing about him accepting him as his granddad and all that.
Yeah.
But then it kind of they didn't really do anything with it after that.
No, it's kind of like they just in season 12. It's like relationships didn't matter all that much, and it's like you forget that a couple of these characters are related, and one of these characters and the other character are like friends, I guess. I can't remember.
I think Yaz and
Ryan was like friends or something.
They knew each other from school, but they weren't kind of friends after that. It's like, oh, I remember you.
Yeah, but then they got thrown together, and it's like, and like you kind of forgotten what the dynamic of the relationships is, and it's just like, oh, they're just companions of the Doctor, and it's like there's not much depth going on.
But so I think unless anyone else has anything to add, I think we're going to wrap it up here.
So yeah, well, do we have any thoughts for where we want the series to go from here then, for the next series?
If they're really going to bring Daleks back for a special, I hope it's just that one special. The next series we don't have the Daleks or the Cybermen again. Also, the ending of season 12 is quite thought-provoking because then all of a sudden, like, she's like back in jail.
Like how did they do? Just teleport into the TARDIS?
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be this like impenetrable fortress that no one can get into.
The power of plot.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all of a sudden these guys can go directly inside her bloody ship and just
Chibnall strikes again, really,
and just fucking like abduct her basically. And we don't know why. We don't know why. It's a good plot point of like, I'll try to get us to watch the special. But the fact that it's called the Revolution of Daleks, it's just making me go like...
Is it Revolution or Resolution?
Revolution.
Revolution, okay.
Because Resolution was the last year's one, so I think it would be a bit cheeky to call this one Resolution of the Daleks.
That's where I'm getting confused. Because some people did comment, oh, well, the Kabam man could get in, but that's because it was a delivery she was expecting. So presumably she kind of whitelisted them.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then twice earlier this series used getting into the TARDIS as a way of showing, whoa, this is weird. Like, the Kasavin came into the TARDIS, and that was really quite creepy. And then Zelin from Can You Hear Me came into the TARDIS, and again it was like, this is an invasion. And it does not feel like the Jadoon should be so powerful. Mind you, I suppose they are on contract from the Time Lords.
Yeah, so maybe they've got like a secret backdoor installed in the TARDISes.
Yeah, something like that. I can see that working, especially if it's like the same TARDIS, which we don't know, but if it is the same TARDIS that was doing missions, that Joe Martin was in doing missions for the Time Lords, they probably have all kinds of backdoors in that.
Didn't Hartnell steal a TARDIS? Although I guess he could have stolen the same one by coincidence.
Well, it wasn't coincidence, was it? Clara told him which one he should take.
Okay.
So yeah, there's wiggle room there. I heard I can't claim credit for this idea, but I heard someone have a great idea for what the Christmas special should consist of. So this prison should be Stormcage, and River should be in the next cell.
Yes! Sorry,
and then they have to break out together.
I was actually... sorry.
In fact, let's have River in the next cell and Jack in the cell on the other side.
That'll be fantastic. And then they can all escape and form a polycule. It's all going to be good.
Sorry, say that one again. They can all escape and
form a polycule.
Oh right, yeah. and then River and Jack can be the companions for the next series. And then at the end of the series, she turns up back at on Earth. And it's like, oh yeah, you three.
Because I think that they are going to kind of resolve whether or not the fam are going to stay on in that she's going to escape and then she's going to go back to Earth, and then either she invites them and they say no, or kind of she decides I'm leaving you here, or I'm going to take this TARDIS because I can't just leave a TARDIS on Earth. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not like she's done the same thing twice in the same series. She left 3 TARDISes lying around because she got the Master's TARDIS in Spyfall. We don't know where she left that. And then there were like 2 separate TARDISes in the finale just left lying around.
Did she leave it somewhere like World War II? Master's TARDIS.
I think no, because I think she used the Master's TARDIS to get back to the present day.
Oh yeah. That's what.
So we don't know where in the present day she left it.
She's just collecting TARDISes. She's got like she's keeping TARDISes inside her TARDIS.
That's the thing, yeah. She could have a little kind of hanger with additional TARDIS. There was a big Finnish plot line in which the Doctor had like a second TARDIS within his TARDIS, and then a second set of companions inside that TARDIS that
what the hell?
didn't know about.
It's like Inception, mate.
And then while his main companions were asleep, he'd sneak into his second TARDIS and go off for adventures with his second companion team.
Yeah, it's like keeping a zoo of companions.
My brain is just hurting now. So yes, so I think we're going to wrap it up here.
Okay, so
yes, yeah. So hopefully we're going to be back at some point doing some classic reviews, starting from the beginning, kind of contrasting the classic episodes with modern episodes. Okay, so I've been Alice Jane. I'd like to thank my companions Dan and Serana for helping me out with this episode. If you like it, leave a like. If you don't like it, well, you should leave a like anyway. Just like, comment, subscribe, all that business. And then hopefully see you back here for the next episode.